Hey guys, it's OberZine here. As you can see, we are not in fact playing a game today. It is literally just my face on the screen and probably a bit on my shoulder and a microphone and bed in the background. But anyway, we're going to talk about the AMD Zen Architecture, which is a brand new architecture from AMD, and they're going to release it around about 2017. That's their goal. They said they were going to release it at the beginning of 2016. And we're nearing the end of 2016. I say we're nearing the end, we've still got a few months to go, but people are already considering Christmas shopping. That's people that celebrate Christmas, of course. I don't celebrate Christmas, I don't like presents. But anyway, so we're just going to talk about literally the Zen architecture. So, as you know, AMD hasn't been particularly good at keeping up with Intel. I'm not really an AMD fanboy, but I do like AMD, because AMD were the ones that invented the 64-bit architecture. That's the architecture that most likely your operating system on your computer is running on. Literally, the 64-bit architecture is just mainstream. 32-bit came out first, obviously, and then 64-bit, that came out, and that allows you to have more than 4 GB of RAM in your PC or laptop. And AMD have licensed that out to Intel. So AMD have been making a fortune from it, because literally Intel just every time they release a CPU that supports 64-bit, they're just AMD's just turning around saying, well, sorry, you're just gonna actually have to pay us because, you know, we came up with this 64-bit architecture. But anyway, moving on from that, so this new architecture from AMD is the Zen architecture, like I've said, and according to some reports and according to the actual showcase of the Zen architecture, it was a demonstration of the i7-6700K processor from Intel against the AMD, whatever you call it, engineered sample of the AMD Zen architecture CPU, and it had an 8-core CPU with 16 threads. And you're wondering, 16 threads? What the hell? AMD threads? What? How does that make sense? They use a thing called SMT, which is simultaneous multitasking. Sometimes it breaks my mind when I say things like this. I don't even know why it breaks my mind. But basically, it's multi-threading, just like on, well, yeah, you can guess it, Intel. Basically, they've done this sample, and I'll show you just a quick video clip.
On the audience's right is an Intel Broadwell E Core i7-6900K CPU. On the left is that Summit Ridge 8-core, 16-thread part running at 3 GHz. We have set both at 3 GHz so that we can have a clock-to-clock, core-to-core, thread-to-thread comparison in Blender. You see that the Zen CPU just edged out that Broadwell E processor in that demo.
So as you can see, it's where they use Blender as the sort of sample, and they're using the Broadwell E chip against the Zen ES CPU. And it's quite an interesting sort of video to sort of show Blender rendering out a scene. This is how I render my videos and animations. And you can see it sort of like the pixels sort of building up. I do like the way it does that as well. It's quite interesting to know. But like the animations, for me, be a massive improvement if it's saying this, because I was thinking of upgrading to Broadwell E. Then I was thinking, well, like, is it worth all that money? If Zen, if AMD keep their sort of promise, AMD low price points, you know, I might actually move over to continuing to stay with. I might actually move over. That makes perfect sense. I might stay with AMD and move over to the new architecture, Zen. And it's even upgradable to, well, it is upgradable. It's a new architecture. It's a new I/O, next generation, everything. AM4, which is going to support DDR4 RAM. It's going to be mental. The new server new server CPUs for AMD, then Zen architecture, following on from the Zen architecture. So I've got hiccups. I have no idea why. I haven't had anything fizzy for ages. They've got a new 32-core CPU coming out on the Zen architecture with 64 threads. The motherboards that are going to support these type of CPUs, they're going to have dual CPU sockets. So in total, 128 CPU threads. That's going to be mental. And then you can just imagine, what is that going to be like with the amount of RAM that you can put in, DDR4 RAM. It's just going to be mind-blowing. Literally, you're going to have, what, 124 gigabytes, no, 128 gigabytes of RAM times 2. Sometimes the brain doesn't work, but you get the picture. 128 gigabytes times 2 of RAM. I don't even know what you would need that for. It's like 256 gigabytes. Wow, I just worked that out. That's actually surprised me. But anyway, moving on from that. So, looking at these pictures, literally, they've got brand new architecture. It's a brand new engine that they've got. So the performance, sometimes I don't understand half the stuff that they come out with. But basically, they got an enhanced branch prediction to select the right instructions. They enhance clock rates. They're saying that it's 40% faster than their previous architecture, and the energy rate is exactly the same as their previous architecture. That's amazing. Seriously, that is amazing from AMD to come out with something like that. So you can see it's like bulldozer, pile driver, steamroller, excavator, and then we got the Zen. The Zen is 40% work per cycle faster. Now, if you just saw in that previous video, the blender was the Intel core. The Intel core was actually clocked at exactly the same as the Zen. It goes up to 4 GHz, not the AMD one. I mean, that's overclockable. It's, of course, AMD processors are known to be overclockable, but they like to say that this is their stock clock, which is 3 GHz. That's what they're saying. That's just an engineer's sample. Yeah, that's what they're showcasing. They're not actually showcasing the final product in that video. So you never know. It could be clocked to like 4 GHz, which would be the same as the Intel Broadwell E processor. So yeah, with the Intel 6700K processor, the one that I was actually looking at getting beforehand, this is going to be a massive improvement over the current Intel CPUs. Unless Intel suddenly come out with something that's going to mind-bogglingly blow everyone's mind by like 100%. Not going to happen, because every year Intel has just released a new CPU with a different name that does exactly the same as a CPU 4 years ago. We all know that. Like, it's hidden in plain sight. Literally everyone knows that. That's why people say, well, go for the Intel 4770K processor, because apparently that's the best processor for multitasking on 4 cores with 8 threads. No idea why, but it's the fastest CPU from Intel, apparently. It's not. It's basically the same as every other CPU that's been released. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to turn off this fan as well. That's probably going to improve my audio quality. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, because I think my camera's actually having intermittent problems where it's crashing, freezing, and getting too hot. I don't know why a camera gets too hot. Great one, camera. But yeah, anyway, so the actual CPU itself is going to be supporting DDR4 RAM, NVMe, USB 3.1, 10 gigabit, among other things. Like, it's going to obviously support Thunderbolt. That's obvious, because Intel supports Thunderbolt. It's a mainstream thing right now. Even if it didn't, the fact it's supporting NVMe and USB 3.1 10 gigabit, it's going to support Thunderbolt, because you can just put plug-in cards that will be able to support it. But like I say, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here, because I've given you the gist of the new architecture from AMD. It's going to be released, well, they reckon they can release it before the end of 2016. But for the consumer editions, they reckon that they can get it to probably 2017, early 2017, that's what they reckon. So we'll just have to hold out till that long. So guys, if you enjoyed that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, check out the comment section down below, drop your thoughts on the new AMD architecture, the Zen architecture from AMD. Just drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. Are you going to get a CPU that's the Zen architecture, the new AM4 platform, with the new motherboard? You know, it's quite a lot to fork out if you think about it in the long run. You're forking out for new RAM, because you have to get new RAM, new motherboard, and new CPU. You can get the graphics card, because like, that's nothing to worry about. You've already got that, obviously, because you've got a computer, unless you're forking out new stuff. But anyway, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button like I've already said, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.